Hello and welcome to this fun fact video which features insights into the island nations of Africa. This video will serve as a sort of appetizer to a much larger similar video I'm working on that will cover the nations of the entire continent. In both we will focus on looking at and discussing these countries in modern times. First, let's start with Cape Verde. The nation of Cabo Verde has its capital in Praia, located on the island of Santiago, where more than half of the population of Cape Verde lives. Though the islands are a considerable distance from mainland Africa, the sands of the Sahara Desert reach Cabo Verde as they are carried there by the wind. This harsh reality contributes to why Cape Verde is one of the driest areas of the world, which results in there being limited arable land for growing food. Despite this challenge, the country is able to thrive. In 2019, it was reported that the life expectancy in Cape Verde was the 7th highest in Africa at 74.2 years. One of the main factors for this longer lifespan is that there is very few contagious diseases found in Cabo Verde. Our second site on this list is Moroni, the largest city in the archipelago that makes up the country of the Comoros. At the same time, though, it's one of the least populous capitals in Africa. Despite being situated near one of the largest active volcanoes in the world, Mount Kartala, it seems to have retained a lot of its historical buildings. According to blackpass.org, the town center contains buildings dating back to the first Arab settlements, which means some parts of the city date back to the 8th and 11th centuries AD. Like our last country, our next destination is also found in the Indian Ocean, and that is the island nation of Mauritius. This country's financial and political center is called Port Louis, and since port is in its name, let's talk about that. Port Louis Harbor acts as the gateway to the country and is crucial to the national economy, managing around 99% of the country's external trade. It handles key imports like food, petroleum, and other raw materials, as well as major exports such as sugar and textiles. In recent decades, the port has evolved into a central economic hub featuring modern equipment, a bustling free port, extensive facilities, and an attractive waterfront, as well as a specialized cruise terminal. For our featured image for the island nation of São Tomé and Príncipe, we have a peek into one of São Tomé's bustling marketplaces. Women often dominate the marketplace in Africa, and that appears to be the case in this photo as well. And in São Tomé and Príncipe in particular, women have always played a vital role in the struggle of São Toméan society, being the majority of the population and often heads of families. Not only were women part of the fight for independence, but they also continue to fight for women's rights in the present. For example, recently a law was passed which mandates that women must occupy 40% of the decision-making positions in public administration. Moving on, we have the Seychelles and its main city, Victoria, which is the tiniest capital in the world. Apparently, you can travel through the entire city on foot in less than a day. The country itself is actually made up of 115 islands, and Victoria is found on the northeastern side of the island of Mahi. As small as the nation is, in the world of literature it's quite a bit larger. Seychelles-born Antoine Abel has garnered global attention for his novels, poems, and short stories, which he wrote in 3 different languages. And last but not least, we have the big island Madagascar. In this lovely place you're looking at is Antananarivo. By the way, am I the only one who's annoyed by the fact that when you do a Google image search for Madagascar, the first result is still that old animated movie? It came out in 2005. For sakes, folks, that cartoon should not be more relevant in a Google search than the country itself. Well, anyway, now that I've got that off my chest, before we get into the main fun fact, how about we go with something food-related for a change? Madagascar is the world's leading producer of vanilla. Yep, 80% of vanilla on the entire planet comes from the island. Now, here's the main fact that I'd like to share with you all. Madagascar is one of only 8 countries in the world that has net zero emissions of carbon dioxide, therefore making it a leader in the fight against climate change. change. And Madagascar isn't the only African country in this group either. The previously mentioned Comoros also has net zero emissions, and there's a country on the mainland of Africa that's helping the planet in this dire crisis as well. But we'll talk about that when we get to the video discussing the continent. That's all for today, my friends. Remember that our focus today was the island nations and not islands in general. So if you were wondering why we didn't cover Zanzibar or Bajogos or some other African islands, that's the reason. If that future African mainland video has piqued your interest, then please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified when we make new videos. Now, as always, I'd like to thank you all for watching.